answer, how much of that is opening press conference saying, okay, we are family, saying that he was sent to do certain things? Do you feel like people got attached to that, or it just was the fact that prime time is at Jackson State?
It's prime time. If my son plays cornerback, I want him to be around, in my opinion, the best cornerback ever to touch the field.
That's right.
If my son played DN, I'd have to talk to you and tell me who's coaching the DNs.
That's
but
right.
I was sending my son to play for prime, the greatness of prime.
One surprising thing that came from the draft.
It's gotta be Shedeur.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be. When he dropped out of the first round, I was shocked. When he dropped to the fifth, I'm like, holy Shedeur. Like, I love Shedeur to death. Like, that's like my little brother. Like, I've been trying to help him for a long time, and I've been in his corner during this whole process. And his chip on his shoulder is going to grow. And I think going to Cleveland, having to earn a spot, I'm happy that he got drafted, and now he has an opportunity to go make it right. You know what I mean? If he didn't handle the draft process well, if he whatever transpired to make that happen, it's over with. It doesn't matter. He's on the Cleveland Browns. Now go earn.
Deion Sanders is staggered, and not from any hit on the field. In a wild twist nobody saw coming, Ryan Clark just dropped a conspiracy bomb about Shedeur Sanders and his NFL draft status, and the shockwaves are shaking the entire sports world. What looked like just another delay now smells like something way darker. A straight-up setup aimed at Deion's own son. The betrayal is heavy, the truth is nasty, and the fallout could light the whole game on fire. This isn't just about football headlines, it's personal, and Coach Prime, the man who's seen it all, never saw this one coming. The world of sports loves building up a hero, but it loves tearing one down even faster. And right now, Deion is living that nightmare, not as Primetime the legend, not as Colorado's spotlight coach, but as a father watching his own kid get dragged through the mud. The lights at Colorado are still blinding, the cameras stay locked in, and Deion still rocks the gold watches, the shades, and the swagger that money can't buy. That's in his DNA. But behind that iconic smile, a man hurting deep, wounded in a way no scoreboard could ever show, and it ain't the critics.
How's your health, brother? How you feeling?
I'm getting there. You see what I got on, right?
That's why I was asking how your health was.
Yeah, I'm getting there. See?
Prime, what did they have to do?
I had blood clots.
Okay.
And they amputated, But I work with it.
Man.
Yeah, I'm amputated. So I get that work done a couple times a day. Keep the blood circulating, blood flowing, but it's a new normal. And the best thing about here, we have a whole medical team on the second floor.
Right,
we have a whole medical floor, which is great. They do the MRIs, like anything happens, we got a whole floor dedicated to that, which is great.
And it ain't about wins or losses. It's the pain of watching his son, Shedeur Sanders, caught in the grinding gears of a machine that values politics over pure talent. Shedeur was supposed to be a lock in the top 3 of every draft board. The arm, unreal. The field IQ, off the charts. He's got more composure under pressure than half the quarterbacks already cashing NFL checks. Ask any defensive coordinator who tried to break him. They'll tell you straight, he don't flinch. Shedeur's got that rare it factor, not hype, not flash. The real deal, the kind of greatness you can't deny, that rare, unteachable spark, the thing that separates stat-chasing prospects from true generational leaders. Shedeur had it, no question. But then something strange crept in. Those mock drafts that once locked him near the very top started sliding his name down the board. First 5, then 10.
Want to have a quarterback coming in, and they got to worry about his dad making noise about what they're doing, how they're doing it, how effective they are or are not.
Right.
All of those things come into play. And then ultimately, you're an executive and you've got chosen a coach, but the audience is clamoring for dad to come coach his son and all of this other stuff. All of those things are things that an executive or an ownership group is going to be worried about because they're about having control over their own product. Where Prime is not blameless is that he did initially state he wanted some say in terms of where his son was going.
Then 15. Before long, some projections didn't even list him in the first round at all. Suddenly, analysts went quiet. Executives got vague, and even though the stats still screamed dominance and the tape was crystal clear, the hype evaporated like smoke. Something about it stank. Then Ryan Clark, the former NFL safety turned respected analyst, dropped a truth bomb so raw it couldn't be ignored. And he didn't do it on ESPN or inside some polished, studio-approved segment. He let it slip off the cuff like a man who just couldn't hold it in any longer. And what he revealed? Not whispers, not hints, straight exposure. According to Ryan, powerful forces inside the NFL weren't just overlooking Shedeur, they were deliberately pushing him down. Purposeful, calculated sabotage. And the reason wasn't performance, it was politics. And the real bullseye? Deion Sanders himself? Yes, the same Hall of Famer who resurrected Jackson State, the same man who turned the 1-11 program into the most talked about team in the country overnight.
Sanders, why did he go so late in the draft?
It's a good question. I wouldn't have part of any evaluation process or to
Skip Bayless
see
says
that.
otherwise.
That's the problem with media is everyone can just say whatever the fuck they want. I actually texted Shadeur because I know him very well. And I said, dude, whatever happens, wherever you go, that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was 199. Who could speak on it better than me? Like what that really means. Use it as motivation. You're going to get your chances. Go take.
Coach Prime flipped the recruiting game upside down, daring to bring swagger, honesty, and worst of all, authenticity into a culture addicted to safe smiles and cookie-cutter press conferences. Deion never played by their rules. He bent them, broke them, and laughed while doing it. He rocked shades indoors, danced in the locker room, and spoke straight with no filter. He didn't just beat expectations, he embarrassed the people who set them. And the NFL,
I don't know what's going on.
What I'm dealing with right now is at a whole nother level. See, on lost 14 pounds, like I'm coming back.
I'm here not to talk about Pops and them. I'm here for the quarterback of the Cleveland.
a league where image often outranks innovation, never forgets humiliation like that. So when Shedeur stepped up looking like a mirror of his father, not just in raw talent, but in swagger and confidence, the alarms went off. Whispers started flying, boardrooms got nervous, and suddenly leadership style and attitude became the coded phrases thrown around. What they really hated? That Shedeur was unapologetically his father's son. Ryan Clark made it plain. This isn't about football, it's about optics, about control, about a league squirming at the idea of a father-son duo flipping the script and rewriting the gum their way. Think about it. If Shedeur had worn an Ohio State or Alabama jersey while putting up those same numbers, he'd already be crowned the next golden boy. Endorsements would be flooding in. Gatorade commercials, ESPN specials, billboards coast to coast, but instead, silence. Why? Because Shedeur and Deion represent something the system can't box up and sell. They're self-made, and even worse, they're proud of it. That pride, that independence, that refusal to bow down.
5th round draft choice, right? And it's some of the decisions you have made, and it lends credence to the criticism that he received in the pre-draft process, right? Didn't show up, prepared in meetings, didn't catch intentional mistakes, right? All these different little things that came out during that pre-draft process. And this is one of those situations. I was a 10th rounder. You're keeping your nose clean. You're making sure you do everything the right way because being a late round draft choice, he's a late round draft choice, a 5th rounder, nothing is guaranteed for you.
That's what scares the machine. Ryan Clark didn't sugarcoat it. What's happening to Shedeur isn't luck or timing, it's calculated. To every athlete bold enough to believe they can write their own story without bowing to tradition, this one's for you. Deion's out here trying to keep it cool, flashing smiles for the cameras, preaching discipline to his players, keeping that locker room motivated. But people close to him say the truth behind the scenes is different. He's hurting. Because it's one thing when you're the target yourself, and Deion's lived with that since day one. From the moment he rocked gold chains in the 80s, critics called him too flashy, too loud, too unserious. He brushed it off back then.
Teams that I won't allow him to play for. Whoa. This is my profession. I know what's behind the curtain. We ain't got to get back there for me to understand what's not prominent for my son. I'm not doing it. Ain't
And
no
if
way
he
in the world.
doesn't listen to you?
Who? No, you must mean owners, like not my son.
Have you told him privately who you would like for him to play for?
It's not like who I would like for him to play.
But now, they're coming after his son, and that hits different. This ain't just about draft boards, it's about legacy, about what happens when a father pours his whole soul into his son's dream, only to see it twisted by hidden agendas in backroom meetings. It's about what it feels like when your last name turns from a badge of honor into a barrier. Deion's not new to the hate, but this level of sabotage, this calculated, it cuts deep. Because here's what the NFL doesn't want to say out loud. Shedeur is a threat, not just because he's talented, but because he refuses to play their game. He doesn't use an agent from the same old circle. He doesn't dance for media attention. He speaks when he wants, how he wants, coached by a father who's never backed down from anyone, and that scares people. Shedeur was the golden child until he refused to bow, until he made it crystal clear he wouldn't be anybody's puppet. He walked into the spotlight with "You ain't seen nothing yet" stitched across his swagger like a warning shot, and the system hates a challenge like that, so they cooked up excuses, inexperienced.
God, Shedeur took it. He took it as a positive. He didn't take it as a negative. And I've been going up and down Twitter all day. And all these people, I don't get how people is enjoying him sliding down the draft board. It's like we know Shedeur, like we invested in Shedeur life. Like I seen dudes on the internet celebrating that he was sliding in the draft, that he didn't go where he was projected.
Hasn't faced real competition, as if carving up Power 5 defenses while surviving 30 sacks a season behind a shaky O-line doesn't count, as if leading game-winning drives, showing icy poise under pressure, and reading defenses like a seasoned vet means nothing. They bend the story, twist the data, flip the script, not because of football, but because of power. And for the first time, Deion feels that power slipping out of his hands. You can catch it in his interviews whenever Shedeur's draft stock comes up. His usual bravado flickers. For just a moment, the smile fades. The eyes look away. The breath gets heavy. He covers it quick, but that flash of frustration, that silent scream, it's there. Because Deion knows the truth. The game is rigged. And for once, he can't intercept the pass. But here's what the NFL power brokers didn't expect. Shedeur isn't backing down, and neither is Deion. The fight isn't fading, it's only growing louder. Ryan Clark's revelation wasn't some casual hot take. It was gasoline on dry grass, a spark that set narratives ablaze. And now the fire's spreading. The questions are rising, the eyes are finally opening. Because you can bury a story, but you can't bury the truth forever. And this truth?
Problem with it is obviously the anonymity of all of the comments and all of the quotes and all of the things that we have had reported, whether it was Josina Anderson around the combine, recently with this quote from an offensive coach who says he's entitled, who says he puts the blame. I watched Shedeur Sanders get damn near killed for 2 years at Colorado. And I never saw him berate a lineman on the sideline. I never saw him cuss or scream at a coach. And you're hearing these things like entitled and these little pieces of the characteristics of his personality.
It's loud. It's walking down the Colorado tunnel in cleats. It's pacing the sideline in shades and a headset. It's barking audibles and firing darts with a smirk that screams, "You didn't make me and you can't break me." That's the nightmare for the establishment. Not just Deion, not just Shedeur, but what they stand for. A new era, a fresh blueprint, a future where athletes don't beg permission to be great, where fathers build dynasties without middlemen, where the game finally belongs to the ones who actually play it. And no matter how deep the sabotage runs, Coach Prime's already planted the roots, and his son, he's the storm.
Okay, here is who the real Baker Mayfield is. Don't watch this video. Don't believe that what you saw of him is who he is. He's a good person. He's a good leader. He's this. We had more anonymous people saying those things. Shedeur Sanders never been arrested. Shedeur Sanders has never been in trouble. Shedeur Sanders has never misused his names to the point of taking advantage of
rolling in fast. They thought Shedeur would crumble. They thought the quiet drop in draft buzz would eat at him, chip away at his confidence, and fracture the Sanders name. But the family doesn't fold. Ever. Deion spent 2 years rebuilding Colorado brick by brick, and Shedeur carried that same mentality into every rep, every throw, every moment on the field. His response to the sabotage, ball out with cold precision. Every practice like it's game day, every drive like it's personal, because it is. He's not just proving people wrong, he's setting them up to regret doubting him in the first place. And it's not fueled by rage, it's something sharper. Precision, discipline, intent. The way he scans the defense, slides in the pocket, and launches rockets with a flick. It isn't just football, it's defiance as camouflaged as execution. All of a sudden, the leaks start flowing.
Shallow really is a throwback player that's trying to play under today's guidelines and rules because he's a bona fide killer. Shallow to date, he's only had one questionable game when he didn't play well at all. And I said in the press conference, he didn't play well to his career. Bucky's been a pillar of consistency, just dominated the social media and changed the game in social media. And Shedeur, he's been that dude since day one. And they still trying to find ways to hate, because if they don't, now you got a Sanders going first pick overall, so you got to hate. If not, you still got to deal with us. But they're groomed for this. Like, they understand this because we've talked about all this stuff all through.
Anonymous reports praising Shedeur's improved maturity, his tremendous leadership, his pro-level IQ. But anyone paying attention knows exactly what this is. Damage control. The same voices that tried to bury him are now scrambling, because the story they buried is blooming right in their faces. What they didn't count on? The resistance, the wave of support. Fans riding for Shedeur, former players speaking up, people rallying around the Sanders name like never before, and it all flips the script. Because this isn't just about a draft slot anymore. It's about protecting legacy, family, and bloodline. That's power no system can silence. Deion never begged for shortcuts, never asked for sympathy. All he's ever demanded, a fair shot. And now the unfairness is so glaring it could be a headline in bold print. The media can't spin it quick enough. The old overhyped whispers are fading. And the Sanders family, once brushed off as just loud and flashy, suddenly looks like the last real thing left in college football.
ESPN has to stop with this narrative because it is getting so old. So Ryan Clark says that the reason why Shedeur Sanders' draft stock is falling is because he's black. He said, quote, "It is about the fact that the color of his skin sometimes at the position can be questioned." Clark has brought up racism at the quarterback position many times. This is the reason why this argument is so stupid and it's false. Okay, let's look at who is going to be the first overall pick. A black quarterback, Cam Ward. Who is the first overall pick last year? A black quarterback, Caleb.
A father building his program on excellence, not excuses. A son earning respect with results, not talk. And here's the kicker. They haven't even peaked yet. Behind closed doors, the NFL establishment is in panic mode, while Shedeur is calmly plotting his next move. And it's not desperation driving him, it's strategy. He sees the whole board now. He knows how the game is played. And with Deion in his corner, he's not just playing, he's flipping it into a chess match they never saw coming. He's building something they can't touch. And that's what terrifies them most. They can't control it, can't predict it, and they sure can't take credit for it. Now the system's stuck, forced to face a player they tried to downplay, a father they tried to sideline, and a movement they tried to bury. None of it's going away. Shedeur isn't just back on the draft radar, he's circling it like a predator, sharp, calculated, and unshaken. And Deion, he doesn't even have to shout anymore. The truth is already screaming louder than every lie they told. What started as sabotage has transformed into a spotlight. And this isn't the kind of light the NFL can dim. This is generational. This is structural. This is bigger than football. This is what happens when a father refuses to let the system rewrite his son's story. When a young man carries that legacy without apology. When a family decides that excellence isn't enough, it has to be undeniable. And now, it is undeniable. Because you can fake hype, but you can't fake results. Shedeur Sanders is the realest player in college football. Not because media crowned him, not because draft boards confirmed it, but because when they tried to bury him, he didn't break. He grew roots. And now the whole football world is watching those roots crack through concrete. So keep sleeping, keep doubting, keep pretending this storm isn't coming. But don't act surprised when Shedeur walks that draft stage calm, collected, and carrying himself like he already knew this moment was his. Because he did. He saw the sabotage, heard the whispers, watched them smile to his face and shade him in boardrooms. And he never blinked. Because in his corner is Deion Sanders, the most fearless father in football. And together, they're not just changing the game, they're rewriting the rules. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, because this story is only just beginning.